Could we have a roll call, Casey? Or Sharon? I forget who does that. Maybe it's Sharon. Or I can
Casey?
do it. Whoever does it. Roll call, please.
Dana,
Here.
Present in Kalamazoo.
Dan,
Here in Kalamazoo.
Jeremy.
Here, Kalamazoo.
Do we know who that stream is that I have showing up?
That's whoever's running the meeting, the IT guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I guess with only 3 commissioners, we don't have a quorum. We will, I guess, move through what we can in hopes that another commissioner joins us. Sound like a plan?
yep.
Okay.
I'm going to duck out for just a second and I'm going to call his spouse
Okay.
because I don't have his number.
Well, we can't do anything without Sharon. She knows all the answers. And I'm not going to read the disclaimer.
Doesn't feel right.
No. Well, we appreciate everyone's patience while we try to get this sorted out. Apologies. Like I said, this is my first time I've ever seen this happen, and I've been doing it a little while, so.
This is Sharon Ferraro calling. I was kind of hoping I could get a hold of Becky, but I don't think we have a phone number. We're having this sort of forum. So anyway, thank you. Bye. Okay. So what we can do is we can wait and see whether he joins us, and we can go ahead and discuss the cases, but we just can't make a decision until we either have quorum or next month, whichever comes first.
Okay.
Do we have applicants waiting on
Yes,
here?
we have, both of our applicants have people meeting. Matt O'Connor is with the 266 East Michigan, and John Schultz is with 611 West South. So,
Well, I guess we need to move through the agenda then. We will need to approve the agenda. We can do
Yep.
it. Is there any amendments to it?
no changes to the agenda.
And I guess I propose we kind of do it out of order. We'll get through 5, 6, and then we'll at least do the minutes, and then we'll come back around.
Okay,
Is that
that sounds
okay?
good.
We'll try to
Okay.
buy as much time as we can.
Yep. Whoever's running the meeting for me at the City of Kalamazoo, could you let me share screen, please?
You're good.
Thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Dana.
Let's say, Dan, I can't make a motion or a second as the chair.
Oh,
So
you can make a second.
I can.
I second that.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I can put my weight in this free group.
Me hanging.
Yes, it's all right. I second that.
Excellent. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Introductions of guests. Do we have any guests who are here who are not applicants? All right, hearing none. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items? All right. Sharon, would you read the disclaimer for us, please?
Sure. Excuse me. Chapter 16, Section 22 of the City of Kalamazoo Code of Ordinance states, historical preservation is a public purpose. To serve that purpose, the Historic District Commission is hereby charged with the following responsibilities. A, the Kalamazoo Historic District Commission is empowered to regulate work on the exterior of historic resources and non-historic resources in historic districts in the city of Kalamazoo, and shall otherwise have all powers invested in historic district commissions pursuant to the Local Historic Districts Act, MCLA 399.201, 1970, PA 169 as amended 1992. B, to regulate work on resources which by city ordinance are historic or non-historic resources located within local historic districts, including but not limited to the moving of any structure into or out of or the building of any structure in an historic district. The following documents are available in the Community Planning and Economic Development Department located at 245 North Rose Street. These documents will help assist property owners in understanding the responsibilities of owning property in a local historic district. MCLA 399.201, 1970, PA 169 as amended 1992, Michigan Local Historic District Act, Code of Ordinances of the City of Kalamazoo, Michigan, Chapter 16, Historic District, the Secretary of the Interior's Standards for Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, 1990, Standards and Guidelines for Kalamazoo Historic Districts, and maps of Kalamazoo's local historic districts. These documents and maps are also available on the City of Kalamazoo website at kalamazoocity.org/historic preservation.
Thank you, Sharon. Well, I guess we're going to jump to number 9 on the agenda. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Any discussion or motions?
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
All right, thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. We're like a machine tonight.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, the minutes are approved from last meeting. Anything on the administrative approval, Sharon, that you want to bring to the commission's attention?
Nothing other than the fact that the numbers are beginning to come up a little bit. And I'm seeing work being done too that is correct but hasn't been approved. So they get a nice letter saying, could you please fill out the form? But we're good. We're getting a pretty good start to the spring and the construction season. We'll see what the what we have to offer. There's over 130 letters went out to new property owners. And I've been contacted just in the last week by 2 more who are jumping the gun. One hasn't even closed yet.
Wow,
There he is.
we got him.
Yeah. Give him a minute to kind of join us.
Where, yeah, like where are they coming from? Like what areas?
A lot of them are in Vine. I mean, Vine is more than Stewart and West Main Hill. Absolutely, the majority of them are in Vine.
Okay.
And they're just, very excited to be in the historic district. Can you give me help? I need a little bit of technical assistance. And so I just put together sort of a template boilerplate that I can just take the paragraphs I need out of it, just drop them into an email. And it works really well. They get the information they need and hopefully they're not hesitant.
That's awesome.
Great. Eric or Stuckey, looks like you're still connecting.
He's connecting to audio.
Hey, and then Sharon, I see on the administrative approvals, install iron fence around the perimeter of the front yard. Is that some, and it says no building permit is required, but they need to ask us for permission for that?
Yep. Yep. And this is one of those, this isn't a really fancy iron fence. This is one of the ones, actually fairly nice looking, but they've made it's modular now and you just kind of stick it into the ground. Okay. So it's not really permanent any more than wire edging on a flower bed would be. So yeah, we're getting more families, more owner occupied. It's not really, I can't really say that, I haven't gone through the data completely, but I'm seeing a lot more owner occupied moving into the neighborhood and happy to be in Vine and in, into the historic district. So
that's great.
That's
so
good.
Stuckey, are you connected? You're on mute. We can't hear you.
How's that? Better?
That's way better. Awesome. All right. Casey, could you please note that Eric Stuckey was able to join us at 5:13 p.m. and we officially have a quorum now. Thank you. All right, let's jump
Sorry
back
for
up
the
to
delay.
business. I appreciate everyone's patience. I apologize that we were a little behind schedule here. So first up is old business 266 East Michigan. So could we have the applicant walk us through the proposal?
You guys are both muted.
This is, can you hear me? Go ahead, Matt.
So I'm Matt O'Connor. We're a owner of the building. We got John Blair here, who is our architect who's prepared these documents here. So I'm going to let John talk from a design standpoint, then I'm happy to answer any questions from an ownership standpoint.
Thanks, Matt. And Sharon, appreciate your help through this process. You know, really, we were on the agenda last month, and we heard some, you know, some feedback from your team, and we tried to address those the best we could. Some of it was related to the banding of the masonry on the south elevator stair tower. There were some comments about the windows, ultimately, and then some comments about the cornice at the top, and some of the things we were trying to not mimic. Well, mimic's probably a better word. Not copy from the historic facade on the north side of the building, but really just kind of reference those in a kind of a subtle way. So the dynamics of our design have changed a little bit. We removed the balconies from the design. We're just going to have those big existing double windows or double hung windows open up into the units, and you know, we added some of those windows into the stair tower to make them look basically, I mean, they're more contemporary in terms of material, but look like double hungs. Got a pretty positive note from Sharon that I think kind of confirmed that we addressed all the comments we had heard. So we're looking forward to hearing from you all again tonight.
All right, commissioners, I assume everybody remembers this from last month. So comments, discussion?
I mean, out of the box, I mean, the cornice at the top looks much more appropriate, I think, and more detailed. I like that quite a bit. And then, yeah, the windows seem to make a little bit more sense. That's my first brush with it.
This is Dana. You know, you came to us last month. We gave you our input. It looks like you took the input and you adjusted the drawings accordingly. So I have no problem.
Yeah, I appreciate the sort of feedback and taking it to heart from last week. I think this is an improvement, and you know, I like the direction it's gone. So that's my personal opinion. So it sounds like a lot of us like this. Is there discussion or motion, or what do we think? Now, just be reminded that with only 4 of us, it has to be unanimous for it to be approved, just so everybody knows that.
Yep.
I mean, I would take a stab, and you know, I'm leaning towards approving it. Like it looks great. Like yeah, all the details that we went over that we weren't super stoked on, they took into consideration and adjusted the design, and I would support it, you know, if it went to a vote right now.
Does anybody want to see the drawings, or because I put together this sheet just comparing the 2 sets of drawings, so it'll all be on one sheet, but I actually have the larger scale ones if you need to see any details.
What was the reason? I don't recall discussing doing away with the balconies per se. I remember the discussion leaning towards a cornice and mainly the fact that it has a horizontal feel as opposed to a vertical feel. There was some discussion about the difference between brick and concrete stone too. if I recall. Does that point out in the, I can't read the details, they're too small for my feeble eyes. But is it, those details are still the same? There it is,
Oh,
cornice.
the material, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the materials would be the same, and the balcony decision was really owner-driven, but as it relates to just a lifestyle thing, those are really big double hungs in there right now. They're literally 7 feet tall windows.
Yeah.
And just as a tenant, having the opportunity to just open your window to get, I don't know, fresh air is the right word, but versus having to open a door, I think it's just maybe a little bit more flexible for this region and the weather we get in this region. So and then of course cost is a factor as well. So a lifestyle and a cost consideration.
Sure. Well, I wouldn't object to either one, honestly. I think of a living space in terms of what would I want. Either or is a good thing to improve a living situation. Is that what you have is the front of the building on the left and the back of the building on the right? Is that right?
Yep. This is the front of the building as it was and is, other than some cleaning up and
That's
repairs. That's not going to change. And then this is the back of the building with the new addition. And I think that it just fits in so neatly now because the windows line up. There's a similar fence. You don't have 3 doors on the back now. It's just the 1 door with the common lobby inside. I just
the addition above the windows too. I don't recall that the little arches have been.
Really those were all there. Yeah. Yep. You don't take out that kind of an arch if you don't have to because it's structural.
Well, those are there existing already.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I like the fact that the windows that are in the stair tower are not round top.
Painted brick to be repainted.
Yep. And the windows in the stair tower are not round topped, which differentiates it from the original historic windows.
Sure. Which I don't have a problem. No, I think it's nice when you give feedback and people, make changes or make them meet you in the middle, make an effort to change. So yeah, I don't. If everybody else is in support, I don't see why I would be the guy to throw in a black ball.
Is there any public comment on this case?
Time.
Not at this time is what I heard. Great. All right. Well, I think commissioners, if there's more questions for the owner or his representative, now's the time to ask them. We can make a motion. Ball is in your court. So
I'll make a motion. I move to approve, this is Dana. I move to approve the rear south addition as revised. The plan substantially complies with Secretary of Interior Standards number 9 and number 10. The commission approves a certificate of appropriateness for this project. Approval of any final details or minor changes to be delegated to the Historic Preservation Coordinator.
thank you, Dana. Is there a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Dan. Any final discussion before we vote from the commissioners? All right, hearing none. Casey, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Dana,
I approve.
Dan,
I approve.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay, so for Matt and John, the letters will probably go out tomorrow. You should get something in the email. And I will also, there's a place I have to check off on your building permit application. So I will do that as well. So good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Too. All right, I believe the next is new business. If I'm correct, that's 611 West South.
Now, when I took these pictures, I specifically went to get views without having the code for the gate to show how visible, or in this case, actually relatively non-visible, this garage is from any place other than the house itself and the house behind them. This is the view down the driveway, and this was the best shot I could get, and it was from the parking lot next door of the west face of the building. So it is not very visible to the general public. That's my comment. Probably let John take over from here.
And thank you, Sharon. Greetings, commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
We are back again to submit the addition to the existing garage. We have done some research and found out that this originally was actually a caretaker's residence for the main house. The left half of the building, the one with the gable end, was the original dwelling unit. And at some point after the building was built, the right lean-to was built on, probably to house, the new automobiles that were coming in, in the early 1900s. So the right half of the building is actually an addition and not original to the 1905 structure. But what we have done, coming back from your comments from last month, is we've pared down the detailing of the structure to be, as you said, more barnish. So we've changed out the doors and eliminated the gable dormers and are showing more of a shed dormer.
Do we know, John, do we know when the addition to the caretaker's house was built by any chance?
As far as I can tell, we don't have any documentation of that. The only reason we know that it was an addition because it is when you go inside the right-hand half of the building, you can still see the old siding from the left half or the east half.
Mhm. Okay. So on the siding, excuse me, are you going to replace all the siding and match what was there, or what's the plan?
The siding on the new addition will match the existing, which is basically a 4-inch exposure cedar siding. So we would match the siding.
But what's on the rest of the building will remain. The
Yes,
existing won't change. Okay.
right. I will have one caveat. There are some existing windows on the main level. If you scroll back up to the existing drawings, we are going to be eliminating those windows due to security reasons. So we will be matching siding there. But no, we're going to maintain as much of the original siding as possible.
Now, will the roofing match what's on the main house?
No. The roofing that's on the garage right now and on the house is about a 20-year-old metal roofing that is failing. And the short-term goal of Jostner Joseph Hosner, who is actually on here. I don't see if his audio is on, but we are planning on re-roofing the whole house. So in the end, the garage or this outbuilding will match the house.
Okay, so but right now it doesn't. The stuff that's on the garage is kind of weird.
Right now, it does match.
Okay. But the this metal roofing was approved by the Historic District Commission shortly when the Hosners were working on the house. the first time.
Yes.
So
But-
it was, they can and so they can go back to that same type of metal roofing.
No, they can't.
Well, I mean, they don't make it.
They don't make it anymore, so we can't. There's no way to match it.
So, hey, this is a question for Sharon. Is metal roofing something that we would typically approve now for historic homes?
We went back and forth, if I remember correctly, that was one of our longest meetings. We went back and forth about whether this was appropriate, whether the scale was right, whether the treatment at the gable, at the ridge ends were appropriate, the gable ends was appropriate, whether it looked too thick or whether it looked okay. And in the long run, the commission decided two things. One was that they would approve this because the scale of the house was such that a little bit exaggerated texture on the roof would be acceptable. It wasn't a small cottage that it would have looked outsized for. And also so they could kind of keep an eye on how well it actually held up as opposed to how it was sold to hold up. And I think we have our answer.
20 years.
Oh, yeah, this was approved and we can, if it's not a change of material, then it can be administratively approved. If it's a change of material, like going from a slate roof to an asphalt roof, or going from an asphalt roof to a standing seam metal where it's appropriate, the change of roofing material needs to come through the commission. But since the metal roofing was already approved for this, it's not a change of material. If we wanted to go back to asphalt, we'd probably have to go ahead and run it through the commission again.
So is that a standard across the board? We just approve metal roofs, or is it a case by case?
No, it's case by case. Unless what's already there is a metal roof, then it has to be a case by case approval.
And then one more, and I'm sorry, this is so
Go ahead.
annoying.
No, good.
What was historically the roofing material for a house built at this time?
It could have been a lot of different things. There's a couple down the street that are slate. That's a little bit more high end. This one, I believe, was probably originally cedar shingles.
Okay.
And because one of our debates when we allowed the metal roofing was the fact that it was a cedar shake style roof. Now, a cedar shingle is sawn to be flat. A cedar shake is split and has a lot more texture to it. So, yeah, we can, metal roofs have been approved. It's not a huge issue, but it needs to be considered case by case. For example, standing seam metal roofs are appropriate on low pitched Italianates and low pitched early housing, but not a steeply pitched roof. So, it's what's appropriate for what we had here in Kalamazoo, not necessarily what someone might have seen in Brookline, Massachusetts. So.
I was curious about the doors on the front elevation. Can you talk about those a little bit?
As far as the garage doors or the service doors, that would be a custom overhead door, a roll-up door that is designed to look like a swinging barn door.
Okay.
Now, is that, John, is that two openings or will the whole thing roll?
It's one opening.
Wow. That's going to be bigger.
It's bigger than what's there already. Right,
right now, there's two doors, one on the left side and one on the right side.
Mhm.
I think it may actually be less.
It
Opening.
is actually less opening than what is there currently.
Yeah,
All told.
because you've got the new door here,
Yes.
the service door here. So it is actually a smaller opening, but it spans a similar, still allows for two cars.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's even a smaller, this is a smaller space on the,
We've
Window.
shifted the door over to the right to get more room on the left-hand side and moved the service door around the corner to the front.
Mhm.
One question on your, Sharon, the picture you showed kind of the fence through the trees, that's the
Mhm.
south view where the south elevation has the windows that are being eliminated?
let me go back and show the, this is,
No. Oh, okay,
this is the north, this is the north, so it's the front. And
right,
this is the west view.
west
There's
view,
no
okay,
way that I could get a view of the south because of the fence that's there. Doesn't show the first floor, which is where those windows are. And I would have had to be going on private property.
Yeah.
way-
And
So-
there is also the property to the south has a multi-car garage made out of cement block that's right up on practically on the property line. So there's
Yeah.
absolutely no way to see the south side
yeah, I don't have a
from
problem with
level.
it. I just was curious to know if, you know, what was on the other side or what that looked like. So yeah, sounds like a good decision, getting rid of those windows, actually. Are you concerned at all about cross ventilation you're at, or is this gonna be a conditioned building and the windows?
It's going to be
open?
conditioned.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I think it's a big improvement.
What's gonna be above the windows in the shed dormers?
The plan, there was two ideas that Joseph, the homeowner, was thinking. One was an exercise room or home office, but he's also thinking maybe this is an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit.
Sure, I meant more, what's the material gonna be right where Sharon's
Oh.
showing?
That is going to be a lap siding, similar to the rest of the siding. We had it. I don't know if you remember the drawings from last month. We actually had a stucco finish up there, and it was just a lot too much detail. So we just pared that down quite a bit. And then we're only going to show the stucco type material on the west gable.
Okay. So the side of the shed dormers will also be,
It's lap siding. Yep. Horizontal lap siding. Correct.
any other thoughts, discussion? What are commissioners?
I'm excited to see the project. I love carriage houses, and then the extra research to find out that it actually was a dwelling kind of allays any small fears I had of like turning a garage into more of a dwelling thing. But if that's its original purpose, that's even cooler. And so, yeah, I think it's an awesome addition to the house and the neighborhood.
I think this is Dana. I think you did a nice job of making it look like a garage, like a barn. I mean,
Thank you, Dana.
All right, is there any public comment on this case?
There are no comments at this time.
Okay. Other discussion or motions? What are we thinking?
I'd like to move to approve it. Should I read the full?
Yes,
motion?
please.
Okay, I approve the addition, I move to approve the addition of the gabled west dormer, new shed dormers on the east, north, and south, and the addition of the basement under the carriage house garage as presented. The plans substantially comply with the Secretary of Interior Standards number 9 and number 10. The commission approves the certificate of appropriateness for this project. Approval of any final details to be delegated to the Historic Preservation Coordinator.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
This is Dana. I second it.
Thank you, Dana. Any further discussion before we vote? All right, hearing none. Casey, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Dana,
Approve.
Jeremy,
Approve.
Dan,
Approve.
Eric.
Yes, approve.
Okay, so John, you'll get the letter probably tomorrow, just like I told the previous guys.
Yep.
Keep in mind that there'll also have to be a separate application for the roof of the house.
That is like a phase 4 project right
Okay.
now, but yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to say that. I'd rather say it than forget to say it and have somebody be misunderstood.
Exactly. Yeah, we are aware of that. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So,
Great.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Moving back to the agenda, I believe
Thank
we're
you,
on-
commissioners.
You're welcome. I believe we were on other business. Is there other business?
I had a question for Sharon about the status of the regulations for historic tax credits. Are they in the process of being promulgated? Do we know anything about those?
they are still, I would be very surprised if they were available before the end of this year. Just from what I've been getting, the stuff I've been getting from the State Preservation Office, I'm hoping that they will be up and alive and be able to be used for projects next year, keeping in mind that any project needs to have part 1 and part 2 approved before any work begins, which means no retroactive approvals. So yes, I am waiting with bated breath. I'm not doing anything on my house that has anything to do with the historic part of it this year. We'll wait till next year. So no, we haven't had any specific news other than the one that I put in. I think I put it in last month's packet. That really hasn't changed yet. Believe me, the minute I hear, you guys will all hear.
Great.
So now I wanted to take a minute though and invite you all. We are doing our annual Historic Preservation Awards of Merit. They will be, you're going to get an invitation to attend. They will be virtual. So you'll be able to sit in the comfort of your own home. That also will be recorded. Instead of having a live ceremony, we are going to, it's all been done with short videos of each project and then some commentary. And then, so it'll be fairly quick, probably about 40 minutes, and it'll be at 5 o'clock next Wednesday. You'll probably get an invitation tomorrow if you'd like to attend and watch. Most of the projects are in the historic districts. 2 of them are not. So, and that's out of the 8. That's really nice that we've got some projects coming up outside the historic districts that are still being done the right way.
Great. All right, well, I think we are to the final point on our agenda, which is adjournment, unless there's other business that I'm unaware of. Great. Could we have a motion?
I move to adjourn the meeting. Dana?
Thank you, Dana. Do I have a second?
I second that. Dan?
Thank you, Dan. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned at 5:42. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great
everyone.
night.
Bye,
Yep, bye-bye.
Hey, Sharon,
Yes, sir.
on the last one, I know that they discontinued the metal roof, but will they likely go with a metal roof that has texture again, or what are they looking at?
I'd be willing to bet they're just gonna go for a different type of roof that, I mean, it'll still be metal. They may
Okay.
decide to go back to asphalt. I don't know, but I think they're probably gonna go back to a metal roof.
Well, that's
That's
why I was
just-
wondering if they were gonna try to push for an architectural asphalt shingle or something like that.
Yeah. If they propose going with one of the synthetic ones, I'm gonna really discourage that strongly because it's also one of those things that promises to be really great, and in the long run, the performance really falls flat. So
Yeah,
we'll see what
yeah.
they decide on. And I'm gonna push them towards something a little bit more shingle-like rather than shake-like.
yeah.
So,
Do you happen to know what the brand of that was, what the style was? I mean, because only from the drawing, it's hard to know. I think I know what it was, but
right, I would have to go back in my records and dig it up, but if it's
Mhm.
even there, it might
Yeah.
be, but you know what?
well, I'm wondering if it's I put some of those on. I'm wondering if it was the same, but I haven't seen those. Those are 20 some years ago, roughly,
Right.
that I would have done those.
And I'm really surprised that it didn't last as long as they said it would.